Hello and welcome to week 2 of the Artist's Way series I'm doing here. Back out on the balcony, Noah's here keeping me company today. I've realised I've had a different pet with me for each Artist's Way video, so I'm going to start off as usual with the reading that we had to do. So week 2 was called Recovering a Sense of Identity. And while week 1 was very much about healing your inner artist, and creating that safe space, week 2 is very much more about asking yourself, what do you want, and trying to better your life so that you can better your art. Some of the quotes I underlined this week was, as our artist's protective parent, we must learn to place our artist with safe companions. And this was under the Poisonous Playmates subheading, and I just sort of made a note on the side about how there's certain people that I don't share my art with anymore or don't work with for this very reason. The truth is that it was self-willed to refuse to acknowledge our creativity. So I was just sort of wrote on the side that I used to be afraid to call myself an artist. Like when people would ask you, like, what do you do? I would be like, I'm a teacher, I'm a student. But now I'm a lot more confident to say I'm an artist, I'm a filmmaker, etc. Do not expect your blocked friends to applaud your recovery. And again, I just made a note that there were certain people I did start drifting from after I started healing. It's inevitable, it's hard. You can still make an effort to keep those people in your life to some extent, but you're probably just going to naturally drift anyway. You don't have to necessarily make hard cuts, but sometimes there are people that's harder to let go of, and then you've got to set your boundaries. The chapter also talked a lot about crazy makers, which is a term that they sort of use for narcissists. I'm pretty lucky not to have any crazy makers in my life that I can identify anyway. I mean, just like everyone, I've got difficult people in my life, but I do feel like most of the people in my life are supportive, and those who aren't intentionally unsupportive, and I've just been able to really start setting those boundaries. Okay, another subheading that it had was attention, which is just another word for talking about presence and the now. The goal of morning pages is supposed to help you be more present. Sometimes I use them to stress about the future, and so I'm trying to use them more this week to just notice the things around me and find the beauty in the little things and see life as a collection of small miracles. A quote here I underlined was, attention is an act of connection, and pain had become something more valuable, experience. Even though difficult things can still happen to us and that can make it really hard to be present, you can try to see that pain as experience and then use that experience for your art. And I also underlined, I am breathing in and out, because that's an instant way to drop into the now. Just to say that mantra to yourself and to actually do the act of breathing in and out and focus on the feeling of the air entering and exiting your lungs. Week 2 also had rules of the road, and I'm going to read those to you now. In order to be an artist, I must show up at the page, use the page to rest, to dream, to try. 2. Fill the well by caring for my artist. 3. Set small and gentle goals and meet them. 4. Pray for guidance, courage, and humility. 5. Remember that it is far harder and more painful to be a blocked artist than it is to do the work. 6. Be alert, always, for the presence of the great creator leading and helping my artist. 7. Choose companions who encourage me to do the work, not just talk about doing the work or why I'm not doing the work. 8. Remember that the great creator loves creativity. 9. Remember that it is my job to do the work, not judge the work. 10. Place this sign in my workplace. Great creator, I will take care of the quantity, you take care of the quality. So there's a lot about the great creator, aka God, in this book, and like I said in a previous video, you can always swap that out for the universe or spirit, whatever you resonate with. And then finally, I start a little quote by Jackson Pollock: the painting has a life of its own. I try to let it come through. All right, now we're going to reflect on the homework tasks for week 2 and see if I did them, how I did with them. Here they are. Task 1 for week 2. Affirmative reading. Every day, morning and night, get quiet and focus and read the basic principles to yourself. So I have the basic principles written down on the first page of my journal. And though I might not have done them every night, I did read them every morning when I did my morning pages. They're kind of just like affirmations, and the more you read them, the more you're just like reprogramming your brain. Task 2 was, where does your time go? For this, you had to list 5 major activities of the week and see how much time you gave to each, which were ones you wanted to do, which were shoulds, how much of your time is spent helping others and ignoring your own desires. And this was a bit of a weird week because it was Christmas and New Year's, and I was down in my partner's hometown, so we spent a lot of time with family. And then when I was back home, you know, I was seeing my friends and my family, and so that's where most of my time went to, which of course some of it is shoulds and some of them were because I wanted to see those people. I did a little bit of work this week, spent time doing the artist's way, and spent a lot of time consuming media like reading books and watching movies and TV shows. But yeah, it's not an average kind of week for me. But it did kind of make me realize that when I am on holidays, you know, I am spending the time doing things I like to do. So when I have the time, I do the things I like to do. It's just a matter of when I have the time. Then it asked you to draw a circle, and inside the circle place topics you want to protect and the names of people who you find supportive in that circle, and then the names of people who you don't find supportive outside the circle. And it called this the safety map, and it kind of links back into that poisonous playmates thing. Okay, task 3, list 20 things you enjoy doing. And then it actually said that you can use a lot of these things for artist date ideas, which is great because that's something I usually struggle with. So what do I love doing? And I was trying not to overthink it, you know, I was just like letting whatever came to mind at the time. All right, here's my 20 things I love doing. Going to the beach, surfing, nature walks, skiing, reading in a nature spot, picnics, watching movies / going to the cinemas, watching plays / musicals, playing music like guitar, ukulele, piano, cello, singing, Shakespeare, yoga, horse riding, soccer, writing, making movies, playing games, toys, making love, and ice skating. Task 4 was to write down 2 of the things from that list and do them this week. So because my partner's from a beach town, when we were down in his hometown, we went to the beach. I went to the cinema to see Wicked with my friends, and it was actually a sing-along session, and it was so much fun. We played a game with my partner's brothers. We went on a nature walk. I'm doing some yoga tonight with my new yoga mat that I got for Christmas from my mum. Thanks, Mum. And yeah, so I did do more than 2 of the things on the list. Again, that is because I'm currently on holidays and have time for that stuff. So I think it'll be a matter of keeping that up even when, you know, work goes back and the year gets into full swing. Apologies about the sound, I have no idea what is happening. Task 5 was to go back to week 1 and read the affirmations. And so those were those affirmations that I developed from the negative blurts, which you can watch me talk about in my last video if you're interested. But I read those every morning after doing my morning pages. You know, affirmations are like vitamins for your mind. And so mine are, I am smart, I have a unique style I get to call my own, my art financially supports me and my family more than comfortably, my career choice is valid, respected, and most importantly, I love it and it makes me happy to be living my dream life. I am encouraged to take up space and be the star of the show, and there is always a place for my art. Task 6 was to return to the imaginary lives from last week, but this time add another 5 lives. And then again, the point of the imaginary lives task is to start incorporating elements from those imaginary lives into your real life. The lives I came up with this week, I had being a writer, and so this would be a more solitary life. I'd sit each day and write away, letting my imagination run wild. And what I love about the idea of writing books, not just movies, is you don't have to think about the logistics and budget. There's no limits. You can just write as grand scale as you like. In my next life, I wrote that I'd be a musician. You know, I'd start out performing, and then I'd love to produce music and write scores for films and maybe some musicals, because I've always loved music. Next life is prioritizing acting, because I always liked acting growing up, and I still do a bit of it, but it's not my main goal. But in this life, it is my main goal, and I just like put everything into it. Act in plays, TV shows, movies, embody the characters, emoting their truth, and making people feel something with my performance. In this next life, I would be an athlete. As a kid, I'd be super fit and find a love for a certain sport. I just really like the idea of having a physical, tangible goal. And then, you know, in my later years, I can coach and inspire the next generation. And then finally, in my 5th life, I would get a teaching degree and teach drama because it's my favorite subject. I love sharing my passion, and I love creating a space where kids can have fun and explore their creativity and imaginations. And in this life, that would be enough for me. Okay, task 7 was the life pie, which was to draw a circle and then split it into 6 parts. These being spirituality, exercise, play, work, friends, romance/adventure, and then place a dot in each slice at the degree which you have fulfilled in that area. Outer rim indicates great, inner circle not so great. Connect the dots and it will show you where you're lopsided. So I will insert mine here, and as you can see, I'm pretty balanced. There are certain areas that could have a little more. Again, doing this in the holidays, so it might look different in, term time. Okay, task 8 was 10 tiny changes you'd like to make for yourself, from significant to small. The point of these is just to basically set these little goals for yourself, some of them big, and you can tick them off, manifest that stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna read you mine. 1, I would like to get a new camera. This is my grandparents' old camera. My old camera broke, and this one's quite old and the quality's not as good as I would like it to be. I have partially ticked this one off because another thing I did want to get was get a film camera, which I have finally done. Number 2, get a vibrator. That is ticked off. 3, I would like to get a breast reduction. 4, I would like to do a Masters of Directing. 5, I would like to travel to the US to see if I'd like to do my Masters of Directing there. 6, I would love to do a ski instructing season. 7, I would like to get a new laptop. 8, I would like to develop a self-care Sunday ritual that I have done as well. 9, I would like to declutter. 10, I would like to write a feature film. So as you can see, some of those are bigger than others, but they're there and I can work towards them, tick them off, and I'm starting with the smaller ones because it just, ticking that off, it feels really good, shows progress, shows that you can do this. And I kind of like that with the Artist Way, it's not just about improving your creativity, but also improving your life. But I suppose if your life is improved, your creativity will inherently be improved as well. Task 9 was to then select an item and make it a goal for this week. Told you already which ones I did. And task 10 was to do said goal. So yeah, all right. And as always, ending with the check-in. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? I think I did them every day, even if it wasn't always in the morning. I think they're starting to feel a little bit better than they did last week. I'm kind of building the habit of it. I think in my morning pages, I really like to try to have a positive focus, write about what I'm grateful for, and I'm starting to try and use them more to be present. Also write about goals, any random epiphanies I have. Sometimes I'll write about my plan for the day, things I want to get done. Sometimes when I'm feeling inspired or motivated, I'll write about bigger dreams I have. Sometimes I'll just write about creative ideas that pop into my head, or even just my dream that I just woke up from. Okay, check-in 2, did you do your artist date this week? What did you do? How did it feel? So I will insert my artist date here, which I did earlier today. Again, left it to the last day of the week, but I did do it. I'm just doing my artist date right now. And even though this place might look familiar because I am on my balcony, which isn't very far outside my home, I still made sure I was doing it alone. And I decided to do a little, New Year's ritual for my artist date this week since it fell on New Year's this time around. And I love doing little spells and rituals because they feel very inherently creative. Putting it together, it does feel very crafty. And I still set the environment like I would if I was having a date and taking my inner artist out on a date. I lit a candle, brewed some tea, put some pretty crystals out, sitting outside on my balcony with the trees and my kitties. I started off by writing in my journal all the wonderful things that happened in 2024. And the list was so long, I actually watched back through my Instagram stories from 2024 because it kind of is the highlight reel of 2024, just so I could write down all the best things that happened. And my heart just felt so full afterwards, seeing all the beautiful memories and achievements. And then as 2025 was approaching, I did write a ins and outs list. I did that last year and it was really great to look back and tick off the things that I did. And so I looked at my outs list and wrote them all down on a piece of paper, which I then burnt just to let go of that stuff. That's the stuff I don't want to bring into 2025. It's been a lovely artist date, and it just shows that you can still have an artist date without leaving your home. It's about carving out that time for yourself and for your artist, and to do something creative that fills your cup. And 3, were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. I think really just getting in touch with what I want, and that was really nicely coinciding with it being New Year's and setting New Year's intentions, reflecting on the year that's just passed. Something I realized I want to do before I start any new creative endeavors is actually finish the ones I already started in 2024. I really hate having unfinished work, especially when me and other people have put so much into it. They deserve to be finished. I've got a short film to finish editing. I've got a musical film that I started writing. I have another music video that I'm directing coming up early this year. You know, I'm seeing The Artist's Way as a project for myself, and I really want to see it through all 12 weeks and, you know, make these videos for all those weeks. And I know as things get busier, it's going to be easier to just, you know, procrastinate it or fall off the bandwagon. I'd really like to see it through. And so the feature film writing has gone on pause for the meantime until I've finished those other projects. Because I know when I'm working on it, those other projects are going to be hanging over my head and I won't be able to like get in the zone properly. That's not me making excuses. I will do it. I will do it. I'm holding myself to that. This year is the year to write a feature film. And I guess my final little epiphany I had this week was just about finding a balance between striving for your future goals, but also being grateful for what you already have. Because even though you do need to have goals so that you can progress, the gratitude is so important so that you are able to believe in yourself and to actually appreciate the life you're having. Because as they say, as cheesy as it sounds, it's not just about the destination, it's also about the journey. There's no point striving to these huge dreams if you're not actually enjoying your life on the way. Because life is now, it's happening right now. And that just really brings it back to that paying attention subheading in the reading. That was week 2 of The Artist's Way. I just want to show you something really cool I bought at a bookstore this week. It's this book. It is an antique sticker book and it's just so cool. Like, it has the coolest stickers throughout it. And I just got it so that I could decorate my morning pages and my journals and tasks, just to make it a little bit more fun and creative, you know. That's what The Artist's Way seems to be about for me so far. It's just about reigniting that joy and that creativity spark in your life. And I do want to say, so it was on New Year's Eve, I went over to like a friend of a friend's house, and it was actually her parents' house, and her dad had just like decked the place out with the coolest stuff. Like, I felt like this is the kind of place I'm gonna have when I'm older, or that I'd like to have. And when I say toys, it was like tasteful, you know what I mean? Like posters, toys, figurines, and it was really colorful and vibrant, had like a neon sign and like a lot of art around. And I said to her dad, I was like, your place is so cool, I love what you've done with it. And he said the key is to never grow up. And I just think that is a huge part of staying creative. I cried on my 13th birthday because I was like, I feel my childhood slipping away, and with it my imagination and my sense of play and all of that. But it doesn't have to. You know, I know there's a lot of pressures and expectations and responsibilities that you get as an adult, but if you just keep being creative and using your imagination and finding moments of play and joy, you can keep up that youthful spirit. That's what I want to leave you with today. And I look forward to seeing you for week 3 of The Artist's Way. I'm actually going to be in Japan next week, so it is going to be a little bit trickier, but maybe it'll make a really cool artist date. And we love new experiences, so I will see you then. Bye. Thank you for watching. Noah says thank you. Bye. Bye. I'm going to yoga now, so